Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. So I've been running the factory for a while and just kind of watching things to see how it's performing. For the most part, it's performing pretty well, but we're not exactly reaching our targets yet. Well, or are we? Maybe we are. Okay, well, we're consuming 2.6K science packs per minute. And we are producing, we're a little bit short. We're a little bit short on the space science. Now, here's one of the issues that I'm having. Those 4 rockets just launched, and these 4 on the inside are not done yet. And I'm not quite sure why that's happening. They seem to be balanced in terms of the ingredients and everything that they've got. But for some reason, they've gotten out of sync. And the problem with this is that my train is not going to leave until all these wagons have the same quantity of space packs. So even if these launch first, the train's not going to be able to leave until they've all launched. It's very loud. Okay. So I want to get that fixed. I'd like to have them all synchronized so that they all launch at exactly the same time. The other thing that I did is I doubled up on inserters coming out and inserters going into the train, so that way we increase the speed of loading the train so that I can get over to the science area, unload, and get back here before the next load appears. Okay, now as far as getting these all to launch at the same time, there's not really a good way to do it. Well, I mean, there's a good way to do it, but there's not an easy way to do it, because the problem is that there's no way to read the status of the rocket silo. Right? So, in other words, what I would love to do would be able to send a signal to these inserters that just say, okay, wait until all 8 rocket silos are ready and then insert the satellites all at once. But there's no signal for when the rocket silo is ready. There's really no way to do it in-game, at least with vanilla stuff. And even though I have a lot of mods that I'm using, they're mostly quality of life mods, and essentially the mechanics, well, maybe not the mechanics, but the recipes and the operation of the machines and everything are still very much vanilla. So the other way that I devised was just to set a timer. Because I know that if I want a rocket launch, or if I want 2,500 science packs per minute, if I divide that by, well, that's 2.5 launches per minute, right? Because I get 1,000 each time. So 2.5 launches per minute divided by 8 is 0.3125. Let me get away from there. It's too much noise. I can't hear myself think. All right, so that's 0.3125 launches per minute, right? 2.5 divided by 8 is 0.3125. So that's a launch about every 3 minutes plus some seconds per silo. So 0.3125 per minute. If I multiply that by 60 seconds, that's 18 point, no, I'm sorry. Why is math so hard? What I want to do is figure out how many seconds between launches. Okay. So if I do 1 divided by 0.31, 1 divided by 0.3125, that's 3.2 minutes per launch, times 60 seconds is 192 seconds, times 60 ticks per second. So every 11,520 ticks, I should launch the rocket. And that'll give me my 2,500 per minute that I want. Right? And we could even make it like 11,520 even, or 11,500 even. We could try to speed it up slightly to accelerate things. What I have to be careful of, though, is that if I use a timer to trigger the launch and they're not all ready, then it's going to have to wait for the next cycle. Unless I reset it after they've all launched. But see, that's the thing. I don't know when they've all launched. All right. So I thought we could try it with a timer. All right. So first off, I'm going to get rid of this thing. And that's set to off. Okay, so these are all turned off, so it won't launch now. So I set up a little, this is like a little prototype of what I'm talking about. This is set so that the inserters will run every 100 ticks, which is about 1.5 seconds. A little bit more than that. All right, so how does this work? Well, we start with a signal of t equals 1. T stands for time. All right, and then this is a decider combinator that counts up to a certain number and then resets, and it counts on with every tick. Now, what's a tick? A tick is 1/60th of a second. When you look at UPS updates per second, that's how many ticks you're getting per real-time second, right? So you want that to be as close to 60 as possible, because that means your game is running at full speed. Now, as far as the game is concerned, 1 second is 60 ticks always, right? So when it says like 0.5 seconds crafting time, that means that this is going to craft in 30 ticks. No matter how slowly your game is running, it's going to be 30 ticks. And if you're running slower than 60 UPS, it's going to take longer than 1.5 seconds in real life. But as far as the game concerned, 30 ticks is always 0.5 seconds, right? So 60 ticks equals 1 second in the game, not necessarily in real time. But that's fine, because we don't, within the game, we don't really care about real time. Anybody who sat down to play a quick game of Factorio knows that real time doesn't exist when you're playing Factorio. Okay, so anyway, so you can set up this timing circuit. Is pretty easy to set up. You just set it so t, whenever t is less than whatever your maximum time is, you're going to output t with the input count. And so what that does is it makes it so that once it reaches that maximum number, t is no longer going to be less than that. It's not going to output anything, which means that t resets back to 0, and then it starts to count all over again. Right? So that's why you can see and you have to loop the output back to the input. And this t of 1 signal is just so that it adds 1 every time. Okay. And then if I want to set something up so that it only fires at a certain time, you could run the wire. Actually, we could just run the wire directly. Right? We could just set this to run when t equals 1, let's say. Right? Because every time it resets, it's going to go back to 1. So every 100 ticks, this will get a pulse to run. Okay, so the idea here is that I can set these up to run once every 11,520 ticks. And we should be good to go. All right, so let's set that up now. I'm going to leave the green. Actually, let's... I'll continue to trigger these off of a green signal. That way I can always disable the timer. For example, if I set T equal to 0, or I just turn it off, then the timer will stop. All right, let's set it back to 1. All right, it's still stopped, and then I turn it on, and it continues counting. If I turn it off again, it'll stop. Okay. And then I can also add a green signal using this if I want to launch manually. So now in this case, I'm going to take my timer output. Actually, I want to reset this. How do I reset it to 0? Do I just say T equals 0? No, it stays at 7. Okay, I'll just redo it. All right, so as long as T is less than, in this case, 11,520. Let's go to 11.5, so we'll be like a fraction of a second faster. So we try to squeeze out an extra launch every once in a while. Well, let's just try it at 11,520. That'll give us exactly 2,500 per minute. And then in that case, we output T with the input count, and then we loop it back. Okay, this is turned off, so I'll go ahead and start this. It's not counting yet. And then I'll send this here. And I'll say that whenever T is equal to 1, I'll put a green signal. And then I'll hook that up with a red wire over here. And that way the inserters can receive the green signal either from this or from my counter, my timer. Okay, so everything's ready to launch. Now we're completely synchronized. And as soon as I turn this on, it should get a signal and start counting. Okay. So that was a problem. It wasn't fast enough. All right, so let's try replacing these with fast inserters and see if that helps. All right, so I'm going to copy that. And then I'll just delete those, and hopefully I can reset the timer. Why is this not working? I I could see it turn green for a fraction of a second there. The timer works. Okay, let's try this. That way the loopback signal doesn't make it to that second combinator. Let's see if that's... Okay, let me just change this to 100 for testing. I don't get it. Okay, well, let's set it to t equals 100. Maybe it's just, maybe it just needs more time for everything to get initialized. Okay, let's try this one more time. And 100 came and went. I don't get it. Okay. All right. Let's try this test again. Maybe it's the belt. Maybe it's just not fast enough to pick up from a belt. What in God's name is going on here? That's on. 100. Okay. All right, so maybe it never actually reaches 100. Let's try 50. Okay. Let's try a belt again. Okay. All right. Okay, so the belt's the problem. So, all right, so we got to put 8 satellites back for each one of these. What? Oh, stack size of 1. That's convenient. Okay. Oh, crap. Crap, 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 crap. God bless it. I've created an absolute disaster here. All right. I better disconnect that stupid timer. All right, now I need to unlimit all these chests so that I can evenly... Man, and now I don't even remember now how much of each of these... Yeah, I know. Okay, so now let's evenly distribute all the satellites. Okay, and then we'll limit the chests. We only want one in there. Look, there's one right there. That was weird. Alright, well, I'm keeping those two. And then... I'll tell this one not to go unless satellites in the chest are equal to 0. That's pretty clever, huh? That way we don't make satellites when we don't need to. And I've got 2 extra ones, which I guess belong here. Okay, so let's put down our timer circuit again. All right, I'll hook up the red wire. It's at 500 something now, so I'll set it to go when it's 1500, let's say. It doesn't matter what the number is, you know, because it's still going to be the same interval every time it hits that number. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. That took a horribly long time, and I'm sorry. Okay, now let's wait a few minutes for the next launch just to make sure it works okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm unloading the science packs twice as fast, loading them twice as fast as before, so that way the train can get over there and get back more quickly. And we can always add more inserters if we need to. See, now why does why is this one taking longer to load? That's puzzling. Let's try something. Maybe it's because that corner was right there. Okay, so now these are all not quite at the same, well, maybe they are about the same place. Yeah, they're all doing pretty equally. Now all the lengths of these belts are different feeding the machine, so I don't expect them to always stay synchronized. But if they have the rocket ready and they all have to wait at least 5 or 10 seconds, then they should all get synced up and ready to go so that they can all launch at the same time. Let's see where we are. 9K, all right, so we got another 2,500 ticks, more or less. And the train is on its way back. Perfect. Right, so the train's already ready to go. Okay, the rockets are getting ready. Let's hope they get ready before my inserter gets activated. Okay, yep, still at 10,000. 11. 500 ticks more. Oh, we're waiting for 1,500. There we go. Great. All right, now let's see if this doesn't back up this time. It still does. That is so weird. Why? Right? None of the other ones are backing up. Well, this one is a little bit, but it's strange. I don't get it. I wonder... Okay, well, it's keeping up, mostly. It's still the last one to unload. That's just... I can't explain that. Alright, and then the train goes. Alright, and I'm going to reduce this to 1 second of inactivity. Excuse me, I burped a little bit. Just had dinner. Okay, so I had a few other things I wanted to show you, but I'll show you those next time. I wanted to keep this episode relatively short, only 30 minutes this time. Okay, but we're doing well. I mean, the research is going very quickly. We're almost at mining productivity 32 now. And as mining productivity improves, every level, our ore trains load a little bit faster, which means that the base is just going to be performing better and better. Okay. So now that I've got this mostly sorted, I think we'll start looking for other bottlenecks or other things that need speeding up, and we'll work on those in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.